All right, we are on page 616. We're kind of finishing up a few loose ends with geometric series. So we're going to look at a few problems, and then we'll work an assignment over it. Again, you need your calculator out, and we need to be on page 616. So we have I've written up all of our main geometric formulas over here. I've got a sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. What's the name of that formula? Explicit formula. So there's my explicit formula. Then we have three different sum formulas. Okay, the first one is a sub 1 times 1 minus r to the nth over 1 minus r. The second one is a sub 1 minus a sub n times r over 1 minus r. And the last one, what is the sum formula for? Infinite series, so a sub 1 over 1 minus r. Now remember, what does r have to be on this last one? Between negative 1 and 1. Okay? Now, so mainly we're going to be using these two in the middle. And how do we tell the difference between which one of these two we use? What are they going to give me that tells me which one to use? Yes. A sub n. Whether or not they give me a sub n. Okay, a sub n can come in two different forms. It can be just a sub n, or it could be something like a sub 7 or a sub 8. If it's something besides a sub 1, we're going to treat it as a sub n. So keep that in mind. So we're going to use these two formulas mainly today. We'll use all four today, but mainly the two in the middle. We'll get most of the work. All right, first one. They want me to find a sub 1. They tell me s sub 12 is 1365, and they tell me r is 2. So, which one of my formulas do I want to use, and why?
Not the explicit one, but the one under that.
All right, so I want to use the second one over there. Why do I want to use the second one?
Because it's not in a fraction.
Because you don't have lots.
I don't have the last term. If I don't have the last term, I need to use the second one. So, that's what we want to use. So, S equals a sub 1 times 1 minus r to the nth power over 1 minus r. So, in our case, S is 1365. A sub 1 is what we're looking for. Then I have 1 minus r, which is 2. And what is my n? 12. And then on the bottom, I have 1 minus 2. Okay, I'm trying to get a sub 1 by itself, so what would I do to get a sub 1 by itself? Yeah, I would actually just go ahead and divide by it, and then put it in your calculator just one time instead of going in the calculator multiple times.
I think I got it.
So I would do 1365 divided by 1 minus 2 to the 12 over, that's going to end up being what, negative? So what'd you get, Carla?
Well, I got 1/3.
1/3 is correct.
Yes.
So when you punch that in, we end up with 1/3. So any questions there? All right, let's move to the next one. The next one is number 67. On 67, they tell me, or they want me to find r. They give me a sub 1 is 0.12. They give me s sub n is 590.52, and a sub n is 787.32. So which one of my formulas do I want to use?
The first one.
Oh, second.
The second sum formula?
Yeah.
Yes, why?
Because you know.
Because I have a of n, good. So
That's what I
S
meant.
equals
On my paper it
a
says
sub 1 minus a sub n times r over 1 minus r. So S is 590.52. A sub 1 is 0.12. A sub n is 787.32. R is what I'm looking for. So 590.52 equals 0.12 minus 787.32 times R over 1 minus R. So what do we want to do now? Multiply by 1 minus R. So when I take 1 minus R times this 590.52, I end up with 590.52 minus 590.52 times R.
Oh, and then you, I know.
What did we just do?
It cancels itself out.
What did we just do?
I multiplied the 1 minus R from the right to the left and distributed it.
Oh.
So I did 590 times 1 and 590 times R. That's what I got on the left. All right, what do you want to do at this point? Get the like terms together. So let's take that 787 and add it to the left. So plus 787.32R. And on the right side, let's subtract the 590.52. So what do I get on the left?
198.
Say again?
198.8.
I
1.8?
got 196 point.
Yeah, I think it is 196 if I remember right.
It is 196.
And on the right side, I end up with negative 590.4. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And we divide, what do we end up getting for R?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. So we figured out our R is negative 3. What is R?
Negative 3.
I don't know, what is it?
Oh.
The common ratio. Yeah.
It's on the board. It's a trick question.
Okay, next one. Next one, they give me this series on the number 69, 15 minus 18 plus 21.6. They tell me the sum of this series is 23.784, and we want to figure out what A sub n is. So which formula do we want to use?
Wait, no, the last one.
The first sum formula.
The first sum formula?
Well,
We don't know
maybe
n,
not.
though.
We don't know n, so the first sum formula is no good.
So the last one.
I want the second sum formula. The a sub 1 minus a sub n minus or times r.
I thought you
minus r.
used the first one if you didn't know A sub n.
Right, but if I'm going to find a sub n, don't I have to have an equation that has a sub n in it?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, so that's why I need the second one.
Yep.
So that is a sub 1 minus a sub n times r over 1 minus r. So in this case, we can plug in 23.784. What's a sub 1? 15. A sub n is what I'm looking for, and how do I find r? Second divided by the first, what do I end up with there? Oh, you guys gave me a decimal. What was the decimal?
Negative 605. Negative 1.2.
1.2?
I was like, what's the decimal? And you said the fraction.
Okay. I know how to do
Okay. So on the bottom, 1 minus a negative 1.2, what does that end up giving me?
1 plus.
Right, 1 plus, so that makes it 2.2. What do I do with the 2.2?
Multiply the times.
Multiply by the 23.784, so what do I get when I multiply that?
R is
52.
52.
52.3248.
Ooh.
3248?
Yeah.
1.2 times a sub n.
Why? Oh, because they're negative.
Yeah, I got two negatives over there, so it's going to end up being positive. All right, then what?
Subtract.
Subtract 15. So if I subtract 15, that gives me 37.3248.
37.3248.
And then to finish up, all I have to do is divide by 1.2.
31.104.
And we end up with 31.104. It's always good to make sure your answers make sense. Okay, it says the last, what does a sub n represent, by the way? Last term of the sequence. Does it make sure does it make sense that the last term of the sequence is 31.104 if this is what I've got to start with? Yes, because what's happening to my numbers?
They're going up.
They're going up, and 31.104 is bigger than all these, so it does make sense that that could be my answer.
It's very long.
All right, next one, 71. They want me to find a sub 1 this time. They give me the sum, they give me a sub n, and they give me r.
Enter. Syntax error. I typed like a keyboard.
All right, which formula do I want?
Second.
The second one. So S equals a sub 1 minus a sub n times r over 1 minus r.
You win.
So S is 468. A sub 1 is what I'm looking for. A sub n is 375. R is 5. And then over 1 minus 5. Any questions? Plug it in.
No, but I can do.
All right, so what do we do to get started? 468 times negative 4. What does that give me?
Negative 1,872.
1,872. And then what is 375 times 5?
1,875.
Okay. So I've got one step left to find a sub 1. What's that? Add, and when I add,
3,700.
3.
Oh, I didn't put the negative.
so what does a sub 1 represent?
3.
Oh, the first number in the
First term in the series.
3,100.
75. 75, they give me a sub 2 is negative 6, and they give me a sub 7 is negative 192. They want me to figure out what r is.
You just make a sub 2 a sub 1.
Very good.
Freaked me out.
So I want to make a sub 2, a sub 1, which means a sub 7 needs to change to
A sub 6.
a sub 6. Okay? Which formula do I want to use?
The explicit.
I want to use the explicit. Why the explicit?
Because you're finding R.
I'm finding r, and I'm not dealing with
Some.
a sum. Very good. So a sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. So what is a sub n?
Negative 1.
Negative 192. A sub 1 is negative 6. R is what I'm looking for. What would n be?
5.
6. N is going to be 6, which means my exponent turns into 5. Why is n 6?
Because you're finding a sub 7 turns into a sub 6.
Right. How many terms do I have?
6.
6 terms. So that's why n is 6.
Yeah.
All right. What do I want to do to solve this?
5 by negative 6.
Divide by negative 6, so I get 32 equals r to the 5th power. Then what?
The
Fifth root.
Take the 5th root, which gives me 2. So we figured out r
It's like a
is
game.
2.
But we're the other one. We're all in competition. You just don't know it.
more. This is number 75 or 79. They tell me my sum is 12, my R is 1/2, and they want the first three terms of the infinite geometric series. So we're dealing with an infinite geometric series. They want me to find the first three terms. So in order to find the first three terms, what do I have to find first?
A sub
The
1.
first term. I got to find the first term. So what formula do I want to use?
Except
Last one.
The last one. Why the last one?
Oh, because there's the sum.
It's an infinite series, so I've got to use the last one. So S equals A sub 1 over 1 minus R. So I'll plug 12 in for S. A sub 1 is what I'm looking for, and my R is 1/2. So on the bottom here, what is 1 minus 1/2? 1/2. What do I want to do with the 1/2? Multiply it. So what's 12 times 1/2? 6. So we have figured out that A sub 1 is 6. I want the first three terms. So 6 is the first one.
And then can't you just multiply it by half?
Multiply it by 1/2. So that means 3 is the second one. And that means the third one is 3/2.
Just kidding.
Okay. Make sure you write it as a series. Make sure you write it as a series because we're talking about an infinite geometric series. So we want to write it as a series. Last one. This time they give me a geometric series and they want me to write it in summation notation.
I hate
What
So
number
it's-
is this?
This is 70 or 97. 97. Okay, so they give me a geometric series, they want me to write it in summation notation. So 3 plus 12 plus 48 plus 30, 72. Alright, they did not tell me what they wanted to start with on the bottom, so if they don't tell me what to start with, what do we want to start with? N equals 1. Alright, then what do I use to figure out what goes inside of it? The explicit formula, very good. So the explicit formula is A sub 1 times R to the n minus 1. So what is A sub 1 on this one? 3. What is R? 4. How do we get R? Second divided by the first. Okay, so the only thing left to find is the top number. So what do we do to find the top number again?
372 equals.
Right. So take your formula you just wrote down and set it equal to the last number. Okay, and to be able to solve this, you guys are going to remember something from this year. So we'll see how you do when we get there. All right. So what do you want to do first? Divide by 3. So 4 to the n minus 1 equals 10, 24. And at this point, you're going to have to remember some of your skills from earlier this year. I changed to log. Very good.
Oh,
So,
no.
Brock. What are the two most important things to identify to be able to change to a log?
And my
Base
Base and exponent. Excellent. So in this case, what is my base?
1.
N minus 4.
4 is my base. What is my exponent?
Minus 1.
N minus 1. And what do we know about logs and exponents?
It always equals exponent.
Log always equals the exponent. That means the only place for 1024 to go is over here inside of the log.
Oh, man.
So the base is always a base, and the log always equals the exponent. Those are the two things you got to remember when you're dealing with logs.
No.
Then all I have to do is punch that in my calculator.
5.
You get 5, and then we add the 1 over. We get 6, so that means 6 is my top number. And I've taken the series and written it in summation notation. Very good. Alright, page 616, 66 to 76 even, 80 to 88 even, and then 98 and 100. You've got just under 30